Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Communicate with Nate. And I'm Nate, and it's great to be back with you today. Have you ever asked yourself, or has anyone ever asked you, are you good at English? Is your English good in all the four areas? When someone asks you that, what they really mean is they might be saying, do you speak good English? But is speaking the only measure of success in a language? There are four things, and today we're going to talk about those four. What is the first one? The first one is, what do we do when we're babies? We listen. Listening and comprehension are the first skill that I would recommend when learning a language. It's the same way that children learn it. And it's also a very effective way to learn it as an adult. It also depends on what your goals are when you're learning a language. But for most people that want to be able to speak it with people and communicate, they should learn how to listen and to understand the language. And what's really important, one of the most important keys in learning how to understand a language is to get yourself some comprehensible input. What do I mean by comprehensible input? Comprehensible input means that it's something that you can understand. The best type of material you want to look for to listen to is something that you understand a lot of, but it challenges you a bit and to take you to the next level. It has some new words or some new phrases, but with the right context, you can understand most of it. Now, if you understand nothing at all, it's not super helpful. And in fact, I've found if I listen to something I don't really understand, it teaches my brain to tune out. Like, I don't need to hear that. It doesn't concern you. So it's good to listen to something not too advanced, but a little bit higher than your level, okay? What is the second thing? The second one is speaking. After you learn how to listen, you also need to learn how to speak. And what is the way that we learn how to speak best? Well, it may seem very simple, but it's speaking. There is no way around learning this one other than speaking with people. You can do this by doing several things. You can talk to someone online if you don't have someone around you, any native speakers in your place. Even better is if you can meet up with some speakers of English in your place. Native speakers, is that important? Well, it depends. Is your purpose just to speak in English to people from all countries? Then you may not need to learn only with native speakers. There are also non-native speakers of English that have very high levels, and they also have achieved native or near native accents. There are a lot of people you can practice with. But to be able to speak, you've got to use your voice. Just speak. One thing that can also help is to look at yourself in the mirror while you're speaking or in your phone and just watch your mouth. Does your mouth look the same as when I speak or when other native speakers speak? If you want to learn the accent, that's part of speaking, okay? And the way to learn it is by practicing. One thing with speaking is it's like a muscle. You have to teach these muscles to make different sounds than what you are used to. And sometimes that can be difficult, right? So I remember when I first started learning other languages like Cebuano in the Philippines or German, I remember my mouth sometimes getting tired because you might be using new muscles in this language if you're really getting the language. So if you want to learn American English, you might have to learn to use those muscles, and it might be a little bit sore sometimes, but that's okay. Eventually it stops and then it becomes natural, so it doesn't last forever, don't worry. After speaking, number 3 is writing, okay? Now guys, which one came first, writing or speaking? We believe it was speaking. Writing and speaking are two separate things. Writing is a way for us to represent words on paper or on some other medium so that we can communicate beyond just our words, so that our words can be constructed in meaningful bits of information that we can share with other people. Now, number 3 is reading. And reading and writing are very closely related, but I'm going to start with reading here. Now, reading, in the case of English, you might have to learn a new script if you are a Chinese speaker. But for most people that are learning English in Europe or in the Americas, and many other places like Indonesia and the Philippines, you use the Latin script already. That is a big advantage to learning English. But English is a little bit strange in that a lot of the words are not pronounced the way that they look. So it's not as simple as in some languages that are more phonetic, like Italian, Spanish, and Filipino languages. The best way to learn how to read is simply by reading. Again, it's not that tough. You have got to just open up and just start reading. You've got to read whatever your goal is in learning. If you want to communicate with your friends, try to read what people your age, what type of things are they writing. You can find that on the internet. You can watch videos like this that will give you reading materials sometimes. You can also read the subtitles. That helps, okay? But reading is important so that you can practice the language even if you have no one around. It's a great way to build vocabulary. And then with writing, you will solidify the information that you have learned by reading when you write. Writing is a great way to memorize. It's a very powerful way to memorize. It's a powerful means of communication. Both reading and writing are two critical areas to become totally fluent in English or in any language. So, what are the 4 areas again? It's listening, speaking, reading, and writing. That's right. Are there any other areas that you think are important in order to get really good at English? Give me a comment below if you think there are other ways that are not listed here. Also, which one is hardest for you? Listening, speaking, reading, or writing? I would say for me, I often can speak more than I can even understand sometimes. A lot of people say the opposite. For me, it was different. I had a harder time listening and understanding at first than being able to speak. But for you, it might be different. Maybe for you, reading is the easiest, or writing. Whichever one it is, tell me in the comments below. I love reading these. And if you like what you saw today, and you want more tips to learn American English, please like and subscribe, and I will continue to make these kind of videos. And it makes me very happy to read your comments, and I do read them all. So anyway, see you guys. Bye-bye.